Hey everyone, Xavier the Magnificent X here, and I have another fragrance video for you. Today I'm going to cover my top 8 favorite formal black tie event fragrances. So please stay tuned. Before I get into my list, I just want to mention 3 quick honorable mentions that have been highly praised in the community. First is the highly ever-loved Dior Homme Intense, one of the most talked about and purchased designer fragrances in the market. The sweet, smooth, lipstick iris and cocoa fragrance. Gorgeous, gorgeous scent. Next one comes from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, and it is none other than Midnight in Paris. This is a sweet, leathery, powdery scent that's very nice. You may not love it at first, but give it some time and a few wearings, if I may recommend that to you. And the last honorable mention comes from the house of Carolina Herrera, and it is none other than Men Prive. What this is a gorgeous, boozy, grapefruit whiskey accord along with some vanilla and tonka bean. Great for the winter months. Highly recommended. Okay guys, now on to my top 8 list. My number 8 fragrance comes from the house of Davidoff, and it is a fragrance that is one of their most criminally slept on fragrances. I'm talking about Davidoff's The Brilliant Game. How does this smell? Let me leave this in a nutshell. Take 1 million minus all the synthetic and obnoxious bubblegum qualities and replace that with gin and juniper berries. A gorgeous scent for nights out, black tie events, and also if you're the person who prefers their personality to shine over your fragrance and not necessarily looking for a statement maker. So The Brilliant Game coming in at number 8. Number 7 fragrance comes from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. It is a fragrance that I talked about in my last video, and it is none other than La Nuit de l'Homme Le Parfum. I'm not going to get too heavily into the notes since I mentioned them before, but I'm going to leave this question just for you as to whether you want to buy this flanker or not. Can you take a less sweet, smokier, and slightly more floral La Nuit? Perfect for the person who considers himself very sophisticated and carries himself very maturely. Great fragrance. La Nuit de l'Homme Le Parfum coming in at number 7. Number 6 fragrance comes from the house of Lalique. This was mentioned in my top signature scent list from the ENCRE Noir series, and it is ENCRE Noir à l'Extreme. What you get is a major improvement of the original ENCRE Noir, a deep, richer, boozier version of that scent, minus all the skanky and off-putting qualities of the original ENCRE Noir. More, if I could say, compare this to a fragrance, this is very similar to Gucci's new fragrance called Gucci Guilty Absolute, but I would say that this fragrance is less polarizing and more wearable than that scent. And honestly, I prefer this over that because it's a lot more wearable. This is a great fragrance for the gentleman who wants to smell classy without garnering a whole bunch of attention. So if you're that type of person, this scent would definitely be for you nonetheless. ENCRE Noir à l'Extreme coming in at number 6. Alright guys, here's my top 5. My number 5 spot fragrance comes from the house of AZZARO, and it is none other than, it's a fragrance that I meant to put on one of my fragrance lists, and it is none other than AZZARO Pour Homme Nighttime. Here's the box. Okay, what you get from AZZARO Pour Homme Nighttime is a slightly sweet, dark, and smoky rhubarb mixed with patchouli. And I would say this is a nice cross between La Nuit de l'Homme and Spice Bomb. A great fragrance for nights out, black tie events, and also this, not to be discourage you or anything, but this fragrance can also be worn casually with a nice leather coat during those nice cooler, colder months, if that makes any sense. So AZZARO Pour Homme Nighttime coming in at number 5. Criminally underrated. Definitely needs more love in the community. Number 4 fragrance comes from the house of Paco Rabanne. It is a fragrance that I think gets a bit too much hate in the community. And it is none other than 1 Million Absolutely Gold. All right. Pardon me. This is another fragrance, despite its hate, that gets heavily slept on in the 1 Million line. Definitely over its predecessor and the Prive flanker. What this smells like, you get the sweet bubblegum vibe of the original, along with some florals and some leather to kind of tone down those off-putting thick qualities. Great fragrance, can be worn by women or men, but I don't recommend any of you blind buying this. I highly recommend, before you consider buying this, I highly recommend all of you to sample this first, because this is not for everybody, especially if you don't like fragrances that lean more on the feminine side. So 1 Million Absolutely Gold coming in at number 4. Number 3 fragrance comes in from the house of Versace. It is a fragrance that has gotten some talk about in the community, but I definitely think it needs more love, and it is none other than Versace's The Dreamer. What you get with this is lavender along with a touch of tobacco and some florals that may smell a little bit synthetic and challenging at first, but giving this at least an hour to melt on your skin, the sillage is gorgeous nonetheless. So gorgeous scent, definitely worth having in your arsenal. So Versace's The Dreamer coming in at number 3. My number 2 fragrance comes in from the house of Paul Sebastian, and it is none other than PS. This is an oldie but goodie. It's high on this list because it projects and lasts a very long time and is definitely a great statement maker. Actually, I would say this is one of the most polarizing scents in this collection. Now, I will say nonetheless that this is not for everybody because the fragrance is a bit thick and heavy. So, but nonetheless, it's also on this list because it's very cheap, about $20 for a 4-ounce bottle. So highly recommended, but definitely sample this first. Last but not least is my number 1 favorite formal black tie event fragrance. Forgive me if I'm late to the party mentioning this, but it was one mentioned by Forever Adrian. It is from the house of Maison Margiela's replica line, and it is none other than Jazz Club. What this fragrance is a nice cross between Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane, which Pure Havane is my scent of the day today, along with a hint of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, minus all the off-putting thick qualities of that scent. This fragrance absolutely stole my heart. Not only because of how good and smooth this smells, but how well this essentially captures the 1920 iconic spot, the Cotton Club, in a bottle. Especially in 3 notes: tobacco, leather, and rum. I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know what to tell you if that doesn't appeal to you by any means. Just nonetheless a great classy scent. Definitely worth getting in your collection, even in a decant. I do have a decant because this fragrance is a bit pricey nonetheless. So that's it, guys. That's my top 8 black tie event fragrance list. Let me know what you think of this list. Do you like the fragrances? Do you love them? Hate them? Let me know in the comments section. Also, let me know what some of your favorite formal black tie event fragrances are. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Xavier the Magnificent X, telling you guys to be safe, take care, smell great, and have a magnificent day. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Take care, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.